In this how-to video, we're going to look at how to work with decimals, how to multiply decimals, how to divide decimals, and the importance of decimal numbers. Welcome to this how-to video. When we're multiplying decimals, in this instance 5.2 multiplied by 4.6, the first thing we need to do is to look at the sum and decide how many decimal places there are in the sum. In this instance, there are 2 decimal places, one there under the 2 and one there, the 6. What we do then, we ignore the fact that there are 2 decimal places. Not forgetting that, we remember the 2 decimal places, make a little note of it at the side of the page if we need to. There we go, there's our 2 decimal places. And then we set the sum up like a normal multiplication. I like to use the lattice method to work this multiplication sum out, but how you decide to do this is entirely up to yourself. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. 5 times 4 is 20. And 5 times 6 is 30. We then do the addition, and we start in this bottom right hand corner. 2. We now add down this diagonal. 8 plus 1 is 9. We then add down this diagonal. 0, 0 plus 3 is 3. And finally 2. That gives us an answer of 2392. 2392. What we then have to remember is then we originally took out 2 decimal places out of the original sum. We need to put those decimal places back. 1, 2. So the decimal point goes there, meaning the answer to that particular question is 23.9. Dividing decimals. In this instance, we've got 78.4 divided by 0.8. Again, we have to move the decimal point. To do that, what we're going to do is times each of those numbers by 10 by moving the decimal points one place to the right. In effect, we've multiplied them by 10. So that means that 78.4 becomes 784 divided by now just 8. So now we can work it out. If we're not too sure of our 8 times table, we can always write the 8 times table down the side of the page here to help us to work this out. So this is just our 8 times table going down here. I'm only going to go to 10. So 8 into 7, that's not going to go. So 8 into 78. Look down our times table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, which gives us 72. We've got a remainder there of 6. 6 is going to go there. 8 into 64. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 784 divided by 8 is 98. Okay, or 78.4 divided by 0.8 is 98. You may ask the question, why have we ended up with a bigger number than we did in the original sum? That's because we've divided it by a number that is less than 1. Next important thing to think about are decimal places. If you're given an answer to an exam question, you've got to give your answer to a certain number of decimal places. this is how we work it out. These numbers to the right of the decimal point are the decimal places. 7, 1, 8, 2 and 4 are the decimal places. We've got to give this answer correct to 3 decimal places. If it's to 3 decimal places, what it's asking for is the answer to be written 2 points and then 3 numbers. Means we can ignore the 4 because that's the 5th decimal place. What we have to focus on is the 4th decimal number, the 4th decimal place. In this instance, it's a 2. If that number is between 0 and 4, then that 4th decimal place, sorry, the 3rd decimal place stays the same. If that number is 5 to 9, then the 3rd decimal place increases by 1. So in this instance, the number stays as 2.718. Purely and simply because the 4th decimal place is a 2, which falls in this category of 0 to 4. If that 4th decimal place would have been a 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, then the answer would have become 2.719. That's the importance of decimal places. Further information can be found in this workbook here, Study and Test Practice book, or Decimals workbook found on 1 file.